The Real Wolverine, a size comparison between movie and comic versions. Hey there, Marvel fans. Have you ever wondered how your favorite superheroes make the leap from comic book pages to the big screen? Well, today we're diving into one of the most iconic characters in the Marvel Universe, Wolverine. Now, Wolverine is a character that needs no introduction. With his razor-sharp claws, incredible healing abilities, and that unmistakable attitude, he's captured the hearts of fans around the globe. But here's a fun fact. There's a significant difference between Wolverine's comic book appearance and his portrayal in the movies. In this video, we're going to slice right into those differences, specifically focusing on his height and build. We'll be comparing the original, short and stocky Wolverine from the comics with the tall, rugged version played by Hugh Jackman on the silver screen. So grab your adamantium snacks and get comfy. It's time to uncover the real Wolverine and see just how much size matters when it comes to this legendary mutant. Let's get started. The origins of Wolverine in comics. All right, let's jump into our time machine and set the dial to the 1970s. Wolverine made his grand debut in The Incredible Hulk number 180 and number 181 back in 1974. Created by writer Len Wein and Marvel art director John Romita Sr., with artist Herb Trimpe bringing him to life, Wolverine was initially introduced as a Canadian government agent sent to confront the Hulk. Talk about making an entrance. Originally intended as a one-off character, Wolverine's feisty personality and mysterious background struck a chord with readers. Before long, he slashed his way into the X-Men comics, becoming a central figure of the team. The creators envisioned Wolverine to be small but ferocious, embodying the tenacity and toughness of his namesake, the Wolverine animal. These creatures are known for their strength and ferocity that's way out of proportion to their size. Sound familiar? Wolverine's Canadian roots weren't just a fun fact, they played a significant role in his character development. The rugged wilderness of Canada mirrored his wild nature and provided a backdrop for his mysterious past. His real name, James Howlett, though he often goes by Logan, and his backstory involving tragic losses and military experiments added layers of depth to his character. From his unbreakable adamantium claws to his rapid healing factor, Wolverine was designed to be a formidable force, packing a punch that far exceeded his short stature. His unique combination of abilities and personality traits made him stand out in the Marvel Universe and cemented his place in comic book history. Wolverine's height and build in comics. One of the most distinctive and often surprising features of Wolverine in the comics is his height. Standing at a canonical 5 feet 3 inches, 160 centimeters, Wolverine is shorter than the average man and significantly shorter than most of his superhero pals. But don't let his size fool you. This guy packs more punch per inch than just about anyone else in the Marvel Universe. Wolverine's compact and muscular build is a key part of his character. He's often depicted as broad-shouldered with a stocky frame, emphasizing his strength and resilience. This physique contributes to his ferocious fighting style, allowing him to be quick, agile, and incredibly tough to beat in close combat. His shorter stature gives him a lower center of gravity, which he uses to his advantage. Imagine trying to take down a human bulldozer that's all muscle and claws. That's Wolverine in a nutshell. His fighting techniques are aggressive and animalistic, often overwhelming larger opponents before they even know what hit them. In the comics, artists love to highlight his size by placing him next to taller characters. When standing beside teammates like the 6'3" Cyclops or the towering Colossus, who stands at 7'5" in his metal form, Wolverine appears diminutive. But this contrast only serves to accentuate his tenacity and the respect he commands among his peers. His height also plays into his personality. Wolverine isn't the type to back down from a challenge, and his small but mighty stature feeds into his scrappy, no-nonsense attitude. He often bristles at any comments about his height, and let's just say it's not wise to make jokes unless you're looking for a swift encounter with his claws. This physical characteristic influences his relationships too. His dynamic with other X-Men members often includes a mix of camaraderie and rivalry, with his size adding an interesting layer to interactions, especially when it comes to leadership dynamics and team roles. In essence, Wolverine's height and build aren't just stats on a character sheet. they're integral to who he is. They shape his approach to combat, his interactions with others, and even his self-perception. It's a classic case of, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. Or in this case, the Wolverine. Wolverine's portrayal in movies. Fast forward to the year 2000, and the X-Men are ready to make their big screen debut. The film X-Men was a groundbreaking moment for superhero movies, setting the stage for the future of the genre. One of the most crucial tasks for the filmmakers was bringing Wolverine to life in a way that would satisfy both hardcore fans and newcomers alike. Enter Hugh Jackman, an Australian stage actor who was relatively unknown internationally at the time. Jackman was cast as Wolverine after Dougray Scott, the original choice, had to drop out due to scheduling conflicts. Little did anyone know that this casting decision would redefine the character for a whole new generation. Over the course of 9 films, Jackman portrayed Wolverine with a blend of raw intensity and emotional depth. His version of Logan was a tortured soul, haunted by a past he couldn't fully remember and grappling with his place in the world. This cinematic Wolverine was a lone wolf searching for identity and purpose. The movies expanded on Wolverine's backstory, delving into his origins, his connection to the Weapon X program, and his complex relationships with characters like Jean Grey and Professor Charles Xavier. The films took some creative liberties, adjusting storylines and character arcs to fit the medium and appeal to a broad audience. While the essence of Wolverine remained, the claws, the healing factor, the gruff demeanor, there were noticeable differences in his portrayal. And the most significant of these was, of course, his height and build. Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of Hugh Jackman's portrayal, specifically his height and build. Jackman stands at an impressive 6 feet 2 inches, 188 centimeters, nearly a foot taller than the comic book Wolverine. This substantial height difference immediately set the movie version apart from the original. To inhabit the role, Jackman underwent rigorous physical training. He bulked up considerably, achieving a muscular and rugged physique that matched Wolverine's fierce reputation. From intense weightlifting to strict dieting, he transformed his body to bring authenticity to the character. Jackman's taller stature brought a different dynamic to Wolverine's on-screen presence. Instead of the small and scrappy fighter, we got a more imposing figure who still retained the character's signature ferocity. His physicality allowed for powerful and visually striking action sequences, showcasing Wolverine's strength and agility. Costume designers and makeup artists worked their magic to capture Wolverine's look without relying on the classic yellow and blue spandex suit from the comics. Instead, they opted for a more grounded approach with leather jackets, tank tops, and of course, the iconic mutton chops and wild hair. The result was a Wolverine who felt real and relatable in a modern setting. But how did audiences react to this towering Wolverine? Initially, some die-hard fans were skeptical. After all, the height difference was significant. However, Jackman's performance quickly won them over. His portrayal captured the essence of Wolverine, the brooding intensity, the subtle vulnerability, and the razor-sharp edge. Jackman himself was aware of the height discrepancy. In interviews, he's joked about standing in holes during scenes to appear shorter and has expressed deep respect for the character's comic origins. He focused on embodying Wolverine's spirit rather than matching his exact physical attributes. The taller stature also influenced the character's interactions with others. On screen, Wolverine often stands eye-to-eye with Cyclops and other team members, which changes the visual dynamic from the comics. Nevertheless, the relationships and tensions between characters remained compelling. In the end, Jackman's height became a non-issue for most fans, and even contributed to the unique identity of the cinematic Wolverine. His dedication to the role set a high bar, no pun intended, for future superhero portrayals. Reasons for the differences. So why did the filmmakers choose a taller actor to play a character known for his short stature? There are several reasons behind this creative decision. First off, casting is a complex process. The team was looking for an actor who could capture Wolverine's intensity, charisma, and emotional depth. While physical resemblance is important, they prioritized finding someone who could deliver a powerful performance. Hugh Jackman wasn't the initial choice. Actors like Dougray Scott were considered, and even shorter actors like Glenn Danzig were rumored, due to his closer physical match. However, due to scheduling conflicts and other factors, the role eventually went to Jackman. From a filmmaking perspective, a taller actor can have advantages. Height can translate to screen presence, which is especially useful when depicting a character as dominant and significant as Wolverine. It also simplifies filming, reducing the need for creative camera angles or platform shoes to balance height differences among actors. Practical considerations played a role too. Action scenes, fight choreography, and interactions with other characters can be more seamless when the actors are of similar heights. It avoids potential technical challenges during production. The directors and producers also considered the broader audience. They aimed to create a Wolverine who would appeal not only to comic book fans, but also to moviegoers new to the character. A taller, conventionally attractive actor like Jackman could draw in wider demographics. Jackman himself embraced the role fully, despite the height difference. He poured himself into understanding Wolverine's psyche, ensuring that he honored the character's essence. In interviews, he's expressed his commitment to delivering a portrayal that fans could be proud of. Ultimately, the choice to cast a taller actor was a blend of practical filmmaking decisions and a focus on performance over physical exactness. It highlights the challenges of adapting characters from one medium to another, where certain changes may enhance the storytelling experience. Impact of size differences on character portrayal. The size difference between comic book Wolverine and Hugh Jackman's portrayal did have an impact on how the character was perceived and presented. On one hand, the taller stature altered Wolverine's physical dynamics. In the comics, his smaller size contributes to his underdog status and scrappy fighting style. In the films, Wolverine appears more traditionally heroic and less of the underestimated fighter. This change influenced the character's interactions. For example, the tension between Wolverine and Cyclops has a different feel when they're the same height. The visual contrast that added to their rivalry in the comics is less pronounced on screen. Fan reactions to the height discrepancy were mixed at first. Some longtime readers felt that the films missed an opportunity to showcase a unique aspect of Wolverine's character. However, many fans appreciated Jackman's performance and felt that he captured the spirit of Wolverine, height aside. The storytelling in the movie shifted focus to Wolverine's internal struggles, his forgotten past, his search for identity, and his relationships. This emphasis allowed audiences to connect with him on an emotional level, making physical attributes like height less critical. The action sequences also adapted to Jackman's physique. The fights were choreographed to highlight his strength and agility, sometimes sacrificing the animalistic, close combat style of the comics for more cinematic battles. In the end, while the size difference altered certain elements of Wolverine's portrayal, it didn't detract from the character's core qualities. The films presented a version of Wolverine that was compelling and resonant, proving that adaptations can successfully reimagine characters while staying true to their essence. And there you have it, the real Wolverine in all his forms. Whether he's the short and ferocious fighter from the comics or the tall and brooding hero brought to life by Hugh Jackman, Wolverine continues to captivate us. His journey from page to screen shows just how adaptable and enduring a character can be. Both versions contribute to the rich legacy of Wolverine, offering different facets for fans to enjoy. So why not dive into the comics and rewatch the movies? You might find a new appreciation for this incredible mutant. Thanks for joining us on this adventure. Until next time, stay sharp.